Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal the International. It's exactly at 6:15, and we take you around the globe and major stories. Like floods, desertification, and biodiversity laws. And announced a Federation of Transporters of Heavy-Duty Trucks in Cameroon have condemned and announced a strike action in those cities. Employers, photos of Haiti.
Transporters unionists say they are against the strike notice in circulation around town. Meeting in Yaoundé Thursday, they were all categorical that they do not acknowledge and accept the said notice. We condemn not only today, but till tomorrow, the strike action. Besides, it does not frighten anyone. The truck and other heavy-duty lorries transporters of Cameroon have the worries, putting an end to the numerous accidents and deaths on our highways. This especially as 80% of these accidents are caused by man and only 20% by others, such as poor parking. In a bid to also live on their business, thus make profit, they nevertheless appeal for equivalent prices. The burning issue on the table of discussion by the leaders of the different trade unions, this alongside how they can help Transport Ministry in the fight against road accident that has found a resting place on our roads every day. Their contribution in that light, it is sensitization, the implementation of models which can help to not only sanction, but also to be well trained so as to master their transport activities. Among other complementary recommendations to the recent decision by Transport Minister, a follow-up committee has been put in place to monitor their resolutions.
Despite efforts to combat climate change, temperatures continue to rise with devastating effects like floods, desertification, and biodiversity loss. Energy experts say it is more than ever urgent to transition from reliance on fossil fuel to renewable sources of energy. Regina Leketanda tells us more.
Smoke oozing from industries are common scenes in Cameroon's major cities as the country burns fossil fuel to meet energy needs. Be it coal, oil, or natural gas, the burning of fossil fuel causes global temperatures to rise, thereby accelerating global warming. At a citizen debate in Douala this August 26th, energy experts regret why Cameroon should be having energy deficit with so much potential. If we go to a town like Bangante and there is no water because of energy deficit, it makes no sense. Because we have natural energy resources from which we can produce electrical energy. In Douala, with about 4 million inhabitants, imagine 3 million people tap energy from the sun. There will be a drastic decline in the kilowatt of electricity demanded. By this, we will equally reduce greenhouse gases. This reduction in carbon can be sold in the international carbon market, and our health will be protected. Cameroon has engaged to produce 27% of renewable energy between now and 2030. Experts say the potential to transition from over-reliance on fossil fuel to renewable energy are enormous.
Nous avons dans le sud la biomasse. Nous avons
in the south region, we have biomass.
Nous avons au nord le soleil, l'ensoleillement, 13 heures d'ensoleillement par jour.
In line with Cameroon's engagement at various conferences of parties on climate change, the government has shown interest to transition, creating various solar energy plants in Jom, Marawa, and Gaoundéré, Guidé, to name this. But experts have one worry. We regret certain choices made by governments with regards to production of green energy. For example, prioritizing solar energy in certain regions where biomass should be encouraged. Ahead of the climate summit later this year, global efforts are uniting to make such switch quicker.
The director of the Cameroon Real Estate has a 2 weeks deadline to put up new management and procedure manual for social housing sector in Cameroon. The manual will help fight problems plaguing the sector, as we hear in the following story with our student journalist.
Electricity and water problems, unsanitary conditions in the surroundings. These are the main problems encountered by the occupants of the social housing facility in Cameroon. They need to institute a more efficient management and procedure manual. This decision to upgrade the services is the outcome of this interministerial conference presided by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Cliquez, to ensure the effective implementation of the new measures. A task force coordinated by the Secretary General at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and the Director General of the Cameroon Real Estate Company is set up to pilot the affairs. The task force is expected to produce a management manual in 15 days to act as the tool of this new mechanism. Cliquez says the different reigning problems are the consequences of mismanagement. The manual will not only help to find out solutions for these problems, but to also ensure the good maintenance of the houses, maintenance that has been absent over a period of 2 years. While waiting for the task force to mobilize in order to produce the management manual in the coming days, many have expressed the need to see the new phase of social housing in Cameroon.
And 5 days to the end of voters' registration in Cameroon, the Vice President of the Electoral Board of the Elections Cameroon was at the Cliquez divisional branch, where registration in the division stands at 5,035 voters far above or assigned quota, as we hear in this story with Beatrice Ngamu.
The Cliquez trip by the Deputy President of the Electoral Board of Elections Cameroon covered Bachenga, Ebebda, Elikefomo, Evodula, Obala, Sa, Monatele, and Okola. At each stop, Apolline Marie Amogo listened attentively, chipping few words here and there if needs be. These encouraging figures made her day. 50,035 newly registered voters, 1,245 cards distributed, and 1,299 names cleaned off.
When we see the statistics on the field, we notice that we have been hardworking, good relationship on the field have done the job.
Satisfaction, especially as they were very worried during the first semester of the process, not forgetting the COVID-19 pandemic.
We do encourage all the actors of the electoral process to keep the flame.
Just few days to the end of the revision of the voters' registration, the Deputy President of the Electoral Board adds this appeal.
Cameroonians have to know that to be registered on the electoral list is a personal responsibility. When a child gets up to the age of 20, he has to know that he is a citizen, a full citizen. The parents are the responsibles of this. The political parties are invited to do their job by educating and communicating with all the members.
Worth recalling here that the revision of voters' registration opens on the 2nd of January each year and ends on the 31st of August.
Some 2,000 orphans have been offered school materials and other didactic necessities by a couple of days to the start of another school year. The gesture is from the wives of police officials to orphans of late policemen. The 6th edition of the event took place at the Advanced Police School and was chaired by the Minister of Social Affairs. As we hear the following story.
Backpack filled with exercise and textbooks, pen, pencils, rulers, and many others for both primary pupils and secondary school students of both the English and French subsectors of education here in Cameroon. Rim of papers and other school material for higher education students. There are about 2,000 orphans of the police are encouraged and supported by the Police Wives Association for a successful kickoff of the new academic year.
Ça représente beaucoup pour moi parce que l'année scolaire va être très difficile s'ils n'étaient pas là.
A show of solidarity to children whose parents died in the fields of honor, serving their fatherland. And it is 6 years already that these mothers took the engagement. The initiative this day saluted especially as it is coming within the COVID-19 context, where the economy is also suffering the impact. Yet, love conquers all, the driving force behind today's action. With power, we order mobilization to take care of the offsprings of fallen police officers, for the dreams of their parents to live on, the police spirit.
This after the vandalism perpetrated by bike riders in a public bus at the Fouda neighborhood in Yaoundé. The divisional officer has promised hard at times to black sheep. Emmanuel Njekdeng, through the warning signals, have added stringent measures to clear the sector. More in the following story.
The administrative machinery is already in place against troublemakers in the motorbike sector here in Fundi Division. The senior divisional officer did not mince words when he said they have the power to remove disturbing motorbike tracks in Yaoundé, and this can extend to the ban on precedent permits if their stay is troublesome. Emmanuel Njekdeng raised his tone. The incivility by motorbike riders on a public township bus plying the Yaoundé-Soir Road last Sunday, August the 22nd at the Fouda neighborhood, added wood to the already boiling pot of atrocities by motorbike riders in the capital city. From now on, control will therefore be scrupulous. Beyond the control of identification papers, we will also look because many crimes are perpetrated by bike riders with knives and other dangerous weapons. For the trade unionists and members of the motorbike associations, who were also part of the crisis meeting by the senior divisional officer Wednesday in Yaoundé, the respect of these measures was imperative. Their adhesion total. Since today the reassurance and credibility of activities by the motorbike is possible, certain practices can be contained. They acknowledge drug traffickers do their business using bikes, so too great killers. Bike riders should know that this time around we are involved and will do all to accompany the senior divisional officer achieve his objective. Ahead of the African Nations Cup, the senior divisional officer of Fundi, Central Region of Cameroon, wants security like other to flow in the capital city Yaoundé as far as transportation is concerned.
And that was it for this edition of the news on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. Coming up next is the brief with Lil Piejou. We also have the news in the French language at exactly this never as Senkan. Have a wonderful or stay tuned to programs on Canal International.